Chapter 12, A Mama's Love. The calamity that ensued behind the death of Biggie shook the East Coast. It rocked me as well. Sean could have stopped it. He was complicit in it. He was a contributor. He knew it was going to happen and didn't stop it. This was his friend. No, they were not nearly as close as Sean could have had the public believe. But still, as far as Sean was concerned, we were great. To the public, we were just having the off and on relationship of a normal couple, and I probably just seemed like a money-hungry hoe. But the truth is, I just got used to having a choice. Today, I recognize it for what it was. Stockholm Syndrome. I was at his beck and call and had become comfortable with it. Quincy had everything he could ever want, with the exception, of course, of a normal parental figure. This is why this chapter is so powerful for me. A mother's love is so real. One night, I was out with my boyfriend. Yes, we were on again. And we were joined for dinner by none other than Miss Wallace. Sean looked over as security allowed Miss Wallace to approach the table and sit. Miss Wallace spoke with a smile. "Hello, Sean. Hi, Kim." I smiled the best I could. What a situation. For all intents and purposes, she is sitting with her son's killer. I hope my voice didn't betray my feelings as I said, "Hi, Miss Wallace." Sean smiled also as he said, "Hello, Miss Wallace. What can I do for you?" When I got your call, it sounded urgent. He was able to appear as if he was smiling warmly. This was the creepiest situation of my entire life. She looked at Sean with pleading eyes. "I know this isn't your problem, but things have gotten kind of hard. I was hoping that you could send me some money that Chris made with you." Sean shook his head. "That's not something I can just do. There are attorneys and accountants. Can I maybe help you out with a little something to get you past the hump?" Sean reached into his pocket to dig for his wallet. I haven't even seen how much Chris left. It's going on 2 years. Just how long is this going to take?" Sean sighed as he replied, "These things are difficult, Miss Wallace. I don't know. The attorneys don't make this easy." Miss Wallace pushed further. "I don't understand what's so difficult. He worked for you. He made his money. Where is it?" Sean shook his head as if saddened by what he was saying as he continued. "It's not like I can just give you his money. You're entitled to certain amounts, and they're just trying to figure out what that amount is. I don't mean to sound cruel, but it wouldn't be fair to me to just give you tons of money. You got rich off my son, and now you're keeping all of his money?" Sean kept his cool as he replied, "I'm afraid business isn't that cut and dry, Miss Wallace. I paid for publishing, publicity. In all actuality, if I'm going to be straightforward, Miss Wallace, Chris probably owes me money. I won't know until it's all worked out." The anger in Mrs. Wallace's voice barely overshadowed the pain, or perhaps it magnified it as she uttered the only words she could muster. "You bastard." Sean didn't flinch. He just said, "Look at the contract. I am honestly trying to get him as much as possible out of it. But I have investors. I can't just take that money that doesn't belong to him and start giving it away." Miss Wallace exploded in response. "You know good and well Chris didn't owe you a damn thing." Sean stared her straight in the eye, unwaveringly, and said, "He wouldn't have started making a profit after a few years. His money until his album sales pay for the studio time, music videos, publishing, and marketing would have come from doing shows. I'm sorry. He isn't here to make that money. I miss him." Her response was deadpan. "Did you kill my son?" Momentarily, Sean was stunned into silence. She asked again, her voice quivering, "Did you?" He started, "Miss Wallace, She would not be redirected. Answer the question. I was not used to seeing Sean on the defensive. No, of course not. She looked at him with spite, the anger in her voice enough to send shivers up my spine, as she replied with the menace only a mother can. I don't believe you, Sean. Sean looked at her with a sadness that I knew in my soul to be fake. Although looking at him without context, anyone would believe him, as he replied, I'm sorry to hear that. Today, I know he was able to muster that fake sincerity because he's a sociopath. Back then, I thought it was compassion. With no more words, Miss Wallace stood up and left. Sean watched her exit with disbelief. Not knowing what to do, I placed my order. Dinner that night was long and silent. I feared for Miss Wallace's life. Sean is most dangerous when he feels threatened. No, she could not physically threaten him, but this threat was very real. If she goes public with her accusations, Sean's image will be damaged. I felt for myself the extent he would go through in order to protect his image.